Hello everyone, today in this video we will fight against the atmos character of our world around us, and this time I would like to dedicate some time for the short summary of the last Soviet secretary, actually I should say, using the word in its negative sense, dictator, Mr. Mikhail Gorbachev, who passed away a few days ago at the age of 91. Beautiful age. And Mr. Gorbachev, unfortunately, was not so beautiful figure, not so beautiful historical figure, because now he belongs to historical figures, since the moment he is dead. He, in my opinion, and not only in my opinion, is typical product of media creation. Even when he was Soviet secretary, so since 1985 actually till 1991, he was a product of propaganda that was making out of him a peacemaker, positive face of Soviet leadership, because all of his predecessors, actually, I love this quotation from the Polish historian and specialist in Sovietology, Mr. Paweł Wyczorkiewicz, who said that secretaries that were predecessors of Mr. Mikhail Gorbachev, Soviet secretaries like Andropov, like Chermienko, and Leonid Brezhnev, the most, for the Western people, they were similar more to Neanderthals than to normal people, because they were advanced in age, party members. I would use the word taken from Russian apparatchik, so people who dedicated all of their lives for making career in the Soviet and party reality, communistic party apparatus. And these people actually were completely unscrupulous, completely ruthless, completely cynical, and completely double-faced, or even triple or quadro-faced, and their only goal was to get power and to keep the power at any costs. So Mikhail Gorbachev, when he became a secretary, he was much younger than his predecessors, because he was just he was just after 50 years old, so even his age was supporting him, in quotation, because he was regarded as a sort of, and presented like this, as a sort of refreshment of Soviet reality. He initiated program of reforms, actually full of understatements and semi-solutions that later fired back on Soviet Union and Soviet economy, just simply facilitated its complete collapse, because we know from the reality that actually Mr. Mikhail Gorbachev was not so much better. Actually, he was not any better than his predecessors. He was only younger, but he was also cynical, double or even triple or quadro-faced secretary, and he was completely incompetent ruler, because he dedicated all of his life in actually serving his supervisors to climb higher and higher in the communistic party hierarchy. So even if now some documents are revealed from his times, we see that he was not, as he was presented, such pigeon of peace and peacemaker, not pacemaker, peacemaker, as he was presented in the Western media when he was Soviet secretary. Even we hear these echoes in some media reports announcing his death, that still some people repeat this propaganda from late 80s and early 90s, that the leader of peace, peacemakers, Mr. Mikhail Gorbachev, passed away. It's not actually true. Simply, Soviet Union economically was already in a very severe condition. That's why this guy and people who were close to him didn't know what to do. So they started the incompetent program of reforms that was not very well welcomed by the society. That was actually, unfortunately, poisoned by Soviet propaganda and not ready to face the reality. And of course, people who listen to my channel, they know what I think about Soviet Union and Soviet regime. I'm very much enemy to this, but this what happened to normal people, normal citizens of Soviet Union after this unsuccessful reforms. Let's call it like this. This all collapse of economy, all collapse of the state, incredible poverty, and even in many regions collapse of state structures. Many people really lost their lives or went into extreme poverty, and they were really struggling to survive. So I can understand why Mr. Mikhail Gorbachev is not like among average inhabitants of the republics of former Soviet Union, because they have experienced, thanks to him, a really tough reality check. They lost their imperialistic feeling that they are the inhabitants of the one of the greatest empire in the world history, and they fall into even more misery in terms of materialistic condition of life. That's why I wouldn't memorize Mr. Gorbachev very positively. He was simply the last, I would say, perfect, uh, perfect representation of the product. Perfect representation, I would say, even perfect product of the Soviet elites, the highest elites of power. Faceless guy, incompetent, focusing only on keeping power, and completely ruthless in climbing up and up on the ladder of his career. And really double, triple, or quattro faced. And here we also see negative role in creating his positive image on the West by Western media. So this is a very interesting case to see in the real mirror Soviet East and as well as West, and see good things and bad things, what happened and why they happened. Unfortunately, we have many more bad things in the times that correspond to the turn of 1980s and 1990s. All the best, have a nice day, bye.